I'll try to keep the intro short here for you folks, and I know this type of video isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea and it seems kind of weird, but I need to do it because I need a little bit of accountability to myself, and I'll get that from you in the comment section saying you can do it. I don't know if that works or not, but that's what we're going with. So archery season's just around the corner. It starts October 1st. Today is September 12th, so we have, you know, a few weeks and a few days to go before that gets rolling. And I kind of wanted to give myself a challenge just to make myself, you know, stick with it here, to you know, not assume you're going to be able to make a good shot, you know, if you get an opportunity to take a deer. And I'm going to do, I just deemed it the 15-day archery challenge. And what I want to do, and you guys can do it as well, I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of 3D targets we've collected over the years, and what I'd like to do is on each day, you know, just 15 arrows, so like 5 ends, 3 arrows each, you know, 5 times 3 is 15 last I checked. But I want to set up realistic type situations that you might be in and shoot all 15 of those arrows or all 5 ends at that same target, just to start kind of, you know, ingraining it in your mind. You know, what are you seeing? And it really pays off. I've, you know, been successful hunting deer. I've also been unsuccessful. You know, you do it long enough, you're gonna, things happen. You know, everybody knows that, and people who deny that, they're lying to you, because things happen. And things can happen when you practice, and it's better to happen here practicing than it is, you know, out IRL, as the kids say, even though it can still happen. Deer are extremely reactive. Things happen, you get overrun with emotion and adrenaline, and if you can't keep your cool, things can happen. Even if you keep your cool, things can happen. Okay, so what I would like to do is we're gonna shoot 3D targets that are realistic for what we could take during deer season. So we're gonna shoot, you know, black bear, obviously white-tailed deer, we have a coyote target, and we also have a turkey target because we're gonna be coming into fall turkey hunting. So what we'll do is we'll set up situations like, you know, sitting in a chair if we're shooting from a blind. I've got a tree stand here in this tree above me. We'll do some shots from a tree stand, you know, shooting to your good side and shooting to your bad side. And for you guys who don't archery hunt and just want to watch this, what that means is for a right-handed shooter, generally speaking, if we're in a tree stand, we want all of our shots to either be straight in front of us or off to our left. Okay, shooting to the right, being a right-handed shooter in a tree stand, is usually difficult. We're gonna set up deer, you know, broadside, facing towards us, quartering away, quartering towards us, you know, different scenarios. What do you do in that situation? And just kind of practice those shots, shot placement, and that's it. That's my challenge to myself. This is the accountability to myself. You can feel free to follow along, watch. You can also feel free, you know, to do it yourself as well at home. I definitely encourage you to. Like I say, we can all benefit from practice. So there's my short intro. I even used my little claw hands to make a quote. Okay, let me show you what we're shooting, and then we'll get after it. This year I'm shooting for the first time the PSE Mach 33. Got this bow a few months ago. I'll just give you the rundown. I'm shooting the Excel driver with the AccuStat 2. It's a 3-pin, no lens, so it is a slider sight. I decided to get the dovetail instead of the direct mount because you can torque tune these where the direct mount you really can't. So that's that. The bow's set up. It's 70-pound limbs. I got it set at 65 right now. I'm shooting the PSE, their 2-piece quiver. So this is going to be my first year shooting with a quiver actually attached to the bow. Generally speaking, I would take it off. With that being said, if you're out practicing and you're going to shoot with your quiver on, make sure your quiver is full of arrows minus the one that you're going to be shooting in real life, because it makes a big difference. You know, these arrows are 500 grains a piece, actually right on the money. So, you know, you add, you know, 2,000 grains of weight to the right side of your bow. So if you're shooting, you know, your bars, you know, you'll have that set, you know, however you desire with your arrows in the quiver. With that being said, I'm shooting the AE Mountain Series stabilizers, a 10-inch on the front and an 8-inch bar in the back. And then that's about it on the bow. Oh, I put a set of Gas System X strings on it when I bought it, so I've got a set of gas strings on it and a Hamsky Raptor peep. And then I don't remember what string silencers these are, but they're absolute trash. You'll see here probably in 15 shots they will both be missing. I had 2 left, so I stuck them on. And then arrow wise, I'll show you shooting some Ultra 246s. I like shooting a standard diameter arrow for hunting. So these are the Ultra Centrum Premiers in a 246 standard diameter, and then I'm shooting the AAE Hybrid 26 vanes. Of course, one of my favorite vanes. Got some custom Total Archery Challenge, some of the freebies we got when we went to the one TAC event. 150 grains in the front, so 50 grain or 100 grain point. I have a 50 grain non-micro insert inside the arrow. And then I shoot pin nocks, and these are the Biter Hunter pin nocks. So these are some of my favorite nocks. And then when you have gas build your string, they put a center serving on it that fits the Biter nock perfectly, which is super handy because the Biters have a pretty big throat on them compared to like compared to just about any other nock, we'll say. And then as far as my D-loop, I do tie 2 knots. You know, I like shooting 2 soft nocks. I know that's not the industry standard. Big controversy on that at this point. Oh, and I shoot Hamskea Epsilon. I pretty much shoot an Epsilon and everything. One of my favorite rests. This is the Epsilon V2. Did have some problems with it though. First time ever in my life I've had a problem with a Hamskea rest. I emailed them, they immediately sent the parts out, and everything's fixed. But yeah, where it clamps onto the integrated mount, it was loose. And it wasn't initially, it was after about maybe 50 or 100 shots, I started getting a noise in my bow, and yeah, the rest was loose where it clamped on. So they sent me a new body, put it on there, and that's good to go. So that's it. Let's pick a target, let's set it up. The rest of the videos from this point forward won't be near as long-winded on the intro. And I think today being the first day, we're gonna start out with your classic broadside deer. And I should say also, because this is gonna get mentioned, you know, how far are you shooting? Realistically, when I'm out deer hunting, I've only ever shot 1 deer in my life over 20 yards. Everything else has been 20 yards and under. Last year I shot a doe and she was 34 yards. Special situation, generally I wouldn't do that. Whitetail deer are so reactive. I really like them in as close as I can. Hate testing my marksmanship when I'm out there. So all of our shots, all of our practice are going to be realistic ranges that I feel personally comfortable at. I know most guys will shoot deer, you know, 60 to 100, 150, whatever it is they do. I don't do it. I try to be ethical as much as I can and just have the deer in close. So all of our shots are going to be seemingly close shots. We'll call this our first day deer. So it's a broadside feeding buck. Generally speaking, I would never shoot a deer with its head down. Lots of videos on reasons why not to do that. We've all done it. We've all learned that lesson the hard way. So generally when we're shooting IBO or ASA scoring, we're looking to aim, you know, here, whether we're shooting 10 rings, 12s, bonus rings. Generally we're going to aim here, which is perfectly fine on a, you know, whitetail deer. Going for this double lung center kill shot, as a general rule, we're gonna hold a little bit lower. We're gonna expect to hit down in this area, so down in the heart area of the deer. And the reason being is if this deer were to react, which they typically do, you know, they go down. So if you're aiming here and this deer ducks heavy because of this, you know, sound of the shot or the arrow, whatever it is that makes them react, if this deer ducks, you know, we catch them up here, you know, in the lung area, you know, about, you know, 4 to 6 inches away from actually your point of aim. And if they don't duck, well, you stuck one right through the heart. So it's a win-win. The other reason I want to do this is to hopefully be an encouragement to other guys who are like myself, who are just, you know, average bow hunters. You know, we don't shoot, you know, competitive archery. We're not on the pro league. We don't, you know, do all this, you know, fancy stuff. We just like to shoot. We shoot some local things and we just have fun. Oftentimes when we're on the YouTubes and we're watching, you know, other influencers that are, you know, professional archers or, you know, own shops, it can be a little discouraging because, you know, they show, you know, their setups and they're out there, you know, dropping, you know, 100-yard bombs and, you know, putting them in, you know, a 2-inch circle all day long, breaking knocks at, you know, 70, 80, 90 yards. that's difficult. That's difficult for the majority of us. So I try to set myself realistic goals, and my realistic goal doing this, even though I say, hey, we're aiming for that heart shot, we're going for that low heart shot. If I get a kill shot, if I mess up, we double lung that sucker, I'm happy with that, because at the end of the day, we're going for the kill shot. So just set yourself realistic goals. Don't be discouraged by somebody else's ability, if it's not your ability. We can only shoot within our limits of what we have, and just try to be content with that. And that's where I'm at. So there, a little motivational speech for you. All right, well, let's get after it. We're going to be about 21 yards, I think we're at. We're starting with a broadside deer, 5 ends, 3 arrows each, going for the kill shot. Day 1, 15 arrow, 15-day challenge, 21 yards, feeding buck, mostly broadside, slightly quarter away, going for a low heart shot, 3 arrows. Let's go. Not a bad start. 12 more to go. As I was standing here shooting, something happened, and I want to mention this to you so you can see, the sun's coming up, light starting to come through the trees. As I draw back, my second shot, sun is right in my peep. I mean, really washing it out heavily. Stay there and shoot through that, because that's a realistic thing that can happen. All these little challenges and little nuances, practice them. The sun behind you, the sun blazing you in the face, because those are things that can happen. What are you going to do in those situations? And what happens with your equipment? Does it completely wash out your pin? Can you still see? Is there things that need to change, or is it just a shot you can't take because you can't see? And it's way easier to learn that standing right here than it is in your deer stand, and it's the first time you've been in that situation, like, oh crap, what do I do? Same for shooting in the rain, shooting in the cold, shooting in the heat. All those different little things you might not think are very important, but they are. It's easy to want to step to the side and get that sun out of your eyes where it's coming through there. But we're gonna try. Of course, I just looked at it, so all I can see is little red spots now. That's it, folks. 15 shots. That's it, folks. Hopefully my math skills are correct, and I did shoot 15 arrows, which I think is a good amount. 15, 20 arrows. Get out here, cold bore. Don't do any warm-ups. Just see where you're at. See where you're at, particularly on that very first arrow. Because in real life, when you're out there hunting real deer and real tree stand in the real world, you get one shot. And that's typically it. Sometimes two. There's stories where people have gotten more. But generally speaking, that first shot is that's it. After that, man, it's all over. And hopefully it was, a good, well-placed shot, and hopefully all your practice pays off. It all comes back to you because you've put yourself in these different situations, and there's so many, and I'm hoping in the 15 days that we can, see different types of situations. Today was super easy. 20 yards, relatively broadside, slightly quarter away, but mostly broadside. Standing on flat ground, we're comfortable, everything's good. Had a little bit of sun in our eyes there for a few shots. It's kind of twinkling through the treetops there, so that's something to see. Didn't really seem to affect me too much. It does wash out my peep a little bit. The way those raptor peeps are made, with their the way they step down the inside, still keeps them pretty clear even in super bright light in your face. That's why I like to shoot those. I think they're a great peep. Not a sponsor, but the Hamsky Raptor peep is one of my favorite peeps. I shoot them in everything. So that's something that you could have figured out today, and that's something that's easily changeable and easily fixable. Moving forward, the videos won't be near as long, but I'm hoping in the next 14 challenges, if you will, we can set up different situations. For example, we'll be shooting in the weekends. We'll probably be shooting early in the mornings. The sun's going to be coming up in our face. If we shoot in the evenings, we're gonna have the sun coming behind us, and the sun hitting the back of your peep, the back of your bow, the back of your sight can often be a different type of challenge too. We're gonna set up situations where the deer are in the woods, so to speak, or just in the hedgerow. So we'll simulate that situation in the evening. You're hunting an inside corner of a field, and you're waiting for that buck to step out. You got that last 15 minutes of the golden hour. You might be out in the light, but that deer is in a really dark spot. You can see it with your bare eye, but when you draw your bow, can you see it through your peep? Can you see it through your sight? Is your pin super starburst and glowing, and it's taking up the whole chest cavity of that deer? Can you actually make an ethical shot? And it's really great, and I just want to encourage you to put yourself in those situations, so when that happens in real life, it's not a surprise, because that's the last thing you want. Your adrenaline's pumping, deer's coming in, your heart's ready to blow out of your chest, and you've sat there for 6 hours, you draw your bow back and like, holy crap, I can't make this shot. My pin looks this big. What do I do? And some guys will panic. You'll send it, stuff it through the guts, and we don't want that. I know things happen, but we're gonna try to work through that and avoid those situations. I know it's a big, long thing. Definitely not the authority on hunting and archery and all that stuff, but try to self-improve. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Grab your bow, get out there, do some shooting.